Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Ringing the Blues, the official Wycombe Wanderers podcast in partnership with Virgin Media. On this week's show, we have all the action and reaction from the home game against Wigan Athletic, plus Wycombe Wanderers fan and musician Matt James joins us for Till Death Us Do Part. But before all of that, let's get the full Liga One results with Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. It's me, Uri, and here are the results for League One. Reading nil, Birmingham City nil, Rotherham United nil, Barnsley 1, Blackpool 3, Crawley Town 1, Bolton Wanderers 2, Leyton Orient 1, Cambridge United 2, Stockport County nil, Charlton Athletic 3, Exeter City nil, Huddersfield Town nil, Peterborough United 1, Lincoln City nil, Burton Albion 1, Northampton Town 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Shrewsbury Town nil, Stevenage 1, Wycombe Wanderers nil, Wigan Athletic nil. So Wigan came to Adams Park for a point, and they got a point. So Chairboys Spanish this week, playing for a draw. How do we say to play? Jugar, playing, jugando. Draw. This is an interesting one because how do we say draw in Spanish? We say empatar, but the Latin etymology for empatar comes from pacting, pactare, empactare. So they pacted a draw. They pacted to not win, but not lose. Okay, Wigan Athletic, you got it. And I have one more results from Liga MX, and that is Pumas nil, Club America 2. For context, I support Club America and Filiberto Cachapollos supports Pumas. So my team won the Mexico City Derby. Back to England with mi amigo Filiberto Cachapollos. Until next week.
Cheers, Uri. Right then, Wigan Athletic rolled into town on Saturday. Here's what happened.
Free kick delivered by the home side towards the back post. It's met there and forward it goes for Taylor in the end, who hooks it over. Well, that was the two centre-halves combining. Big Joe Lowe won the header from the free kick. And it came across the face of goal, and Caleb Taylor hooked it towards goal. And it was dealt with by Sam Tickle. First chance of the game falls to the home side. Tickle pushing it over the crossbar. All spread out wide, but that's cut out easily enough. But Wycombe retain possession. McCleary has men overlapping outside him. Here's Scowen, who will try one. Just tipped over the crossbar, or perhaps onto the top of the crossbar by Tickle, who has been a busy keeper in these opening minutes. Josh Scowen with the effort this time. Need interchange, met it on the volley, and it just grazed the top of the crossbar. Low. Wycombe playing the neater stuff, controlling possession, and here's McCleary away. Got some space. Can he deliver the cross? He drills it across the face of goal to no one in particular. Well, players were arriving into the penalty area for Gareth McCleary, but he didn't pick anyone out. And another opportunity goes begging. Wycombe have definitely been on top. Pattenden is on the overlap. Humphreys again, lofts it back into the penalty area. It's over the top of everybody. Udo was looking to challenge for it, but couldn't get on the end of it. It's been that kind of half for Wycombe so far. Almost, but not quite. Cameron Humphreys delivering the ball. Udo not tall enough to get on the end of that. Definitely the home side have looked the more likely to break the deadlock. Labala. Lofted back in again towards the back post. Once again, it's not really dealt with Humphreys with the shot, which is saved by Tickle's legs. And in the end, Wigan do get it away. He's been his team's man of the match so far, made several good saves in the first half, and he's had it again in the second period too. Teed up for Humphreys, the snap shot, saved by the legs of the keeper, and eventually Wigan get it away. McCleary, usually a source of danger, delivers it. That's a poor ball in, cut out by Norburn. McCleary will try again. Humphreys, neat turn to create room for the cross. It's met acrobatically, but it's not a clean contact. Richard Kone, the fans were pleased to see him return off the bench after injury. Their leading scorer this season, of course, and if anyone's going to create a moment to decide this game, it might be him. Humphreys drills it forward again. Onyedinma will give chase. Tickle is off his line sharply to snuff out the danger. Goes out for a throw. Onyedinma breaking forward, and they've got men in front of him. Kone is there, but it's still Onyedinma running alone, and he goes alone, just wide. Well, perhaps the best chance they've created in this second half.
Jasper, great to see you back out there today. Just unfortunate not to sort of celebrate your comeback with 3 points.
Yeah, it's first of all, really nice to be back out there. Been 9 long weeks, but yeah, really nice to be back and back out there playing. But yeah, it's a frustrating one. Obviously, we knew that they didn't concede very many goals. Their stats before the game, the XG against, we knew was quite low, so we knew it'd be tough to break them down, and just couldn't quite do it today. So yeah, frustrating in the dressing room after the game.
Lots of energy, lots of endeavour, just as you say, that sort of final ball, the final bit of quality. Yeah,
boys worked really hard. They made it difficult for us in the way they set up, and ultimately just couldn't break them down. Had a few half chances, but unlike us, we just didn't really create that cutting edge, and sometimes you just need that ball to drop for you at some point and get that cutting edge, but it just didn't drop for us today.
I guess you're finding as well that teams are coming to Adams Park and recognising that a point's a good point and are setting up more defensively.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously the league position speaks for itself. Teams come in now knowing that we're a free-flowing, free-scoring team, and those numbers speak for themselves, so they set up slightly differently as maybe they did previously. But we know that, but we know we're more than good enough. We've got the quality in the dressing room to break any team down and win against anybody, so we know that teams are going to do that now. The last few months that's been the case, so for us just disappointed we couldn't get over the line.
What's it been like for you coming back, and lots of change as well, because obviously last time we were playing it was a different manager and a whole new set of players as well coming in January too?
Yeah, lots of change, obviously in all departments. See lots of new faces, but everyone's been great. Everyone's come in. Obviously when you bring in the amount of numbers you do, it's a big squad, there's competition for places, it's tough, so everybody's just working really hard. Everybody knows they have to be on it every single day if they want to play at the weekend or a Tuesday night, so it's a really healthy competition. So it's a lot of faces, but it's good because everyone's working hard to be in the team.
Everyone sort of says that it's a good thing. Obviously, players are obviously going to be wary of losing their place in the side, but the fact that it keeps up the level of performance is obviously promising.
Yeah, it's healthy competition. I know that term sort of gets thrown around quite a lot, and often people don't see it as that, but I think it is the case with us. We've got so many quality players in the building, and we added to that in January with more quality, so players know you're going to have to be on it, you're going to have to be working hard and in order to keep your place in the team, and I think that drives everyone forward.
And are you looking forward to a full week on the training pitch? And it's an exciting game next week as well, away to Birmingham.
Yeah, obviously a massive game on paper. That's one that people have probably put a red circle on the calendar for a while, but again, it's just another game in this league. We know every game's tough, whether you go to St Andrews and play Birmingham or any other team, we know it's going to be a tough game, so we'll prepare how we do. We'll focus on us, we'll do our work. We've got a full week's training so we can really get stuck in and go there and look to get a result.
Mike, a frustrating one this afternoon, sort of there but not quite there.
Yeah, I think you've probably encapsulated everyone's thoughts. There was a lot of the performance I liked, and particularly out of possession stuff. I felt again for the second week, second game in a week, we looked really strong and solid and really together. And then the in possession stuff, I was actually really happy with up to probably the final third. We needed a moment. We needed the ball to land to us. We needed someone to maybe get a little bit of a scrappy goal, and the complexity of the game looks completely different. And the longer the game went on, and they're clinging on for their lives in terms of the scoreline, and they've got something to hold on to. It became even more difficult for us. So, look, there's been loads of probably those games this season. What will happen is teams will obviously show us a lot more respect in terms of what we're doing and where we are in the league. So, teams will come here and try and frustrate us and sit behind the ball and set up for a draw, or set up to try and nick it through a moment. And we've just got to make sure we're really professional, really diligent in terms of the way we prepare for the game, and we'll be fine.
Made a bright start again. In hindsight, did you almost need to take one of those earlier chances? Because I guess teams like Wigan will grow in confidence as the game goes on that they can come here and take a point.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I've just spoke to the guys about in there, that when teams come in with a specific game plan to frustrate and put a lot of bodies behind the ball and defend the 18-yard box, those moments that you look back on are really, really important moments. The keeper's made 2 unbelievable saves to obviously keep them in the game, but that first goal in those types of games is so important. And look, it is what it is. We didn't manage to get that goal. It's another point. We move on. It's a point closer to our target. Do we want it to be 3 points? Of course we do. Are we frustrated? Of course we are, but it is what it is. We get on with it. We get back to work on Monday, and we look forward to the next game.
Did you enjoy the solidity of your side today? Because that's back-to-back clean sheets now.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things when I came in. I addressed the group. I felt that I could affect the out of possession stuff really, really quickly, and I think I've done that. I know we conceded against Crawley, but like I was saying, it was an absolute worldie of a goal, and for 120 minutes we didn't concede against Bolton, which are an established championship team. So the out of possession stuff is something that we should all be really proud of. And I'm not saying the in possession stuff is a worry, because it's not a worry, because we are getting into the final third with a lot of quality. It's that last pass, it's that last little bit of quality, it's a little bit of luck sometimes. One of those goals go in and the game looks completely different. And I know, speaking to the staff, there was a similar type of game, I think it was Northampton, where Northampton really frustrated us. So teams are going to do that now, and we've got to find solutions. And that's my responsibility. When we get on the training pitch, we review the game, we show the clips to the players. It's my responsibility to try and find those solutions.
It's a different challenge, isn't it? And the kind of challenge that teams that want promotion, I guess, need to come up with answers for.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not shying away from that. I was speaking to staff there. We were free scoring at the start of the season, scoring kind of almost like 2 goals a game. But having watched a number of games, I think what happens is, as the season goes on and people start to find where they are in the league, a level of respect then occurs. And I'm not saying they didn't respect Wycombe at the start of the season, but I think teams maybe have been a little bit more open and a little bit more adventurous in the way they play. And I think you start to see now a trend where teams are being a lot more respectful and just sitting behind the ball. So we have to find a solution to that. We will find a solution to that, and we'll be completely fine.
Does being defensively solid, does that limit what you can do going forward? Does it limit the attacking impetus, or should that not matter?
Not really. I think, as I said, my initial gut, and I watched the game back, my initial gut is we did get to the final third really well. So that's not an out of possession thing. That shouldn't have any effect. It's as I said, it's the last pass, it's the last little bit of combination, it's the final touch in the box. You've also got to give credit to the opposition. They're one of the best in the league statistically in terms of expected goals against, so they defend their box really well. I think they're in the top 5 or top 6 in terms of kind of expected goals against them, so they do defend the box really well. But that being said, I've always said we'll focus on us. That's not an excuse. We have to find that little bit of quality, that little bit of maybe magic in the top end of the pitch to kind of combine and unlock. I think today is just, for me, it's one of those games, and we'll see a number of those games here this season, next season and beyond. And I'm sure the fans have seen a number of those types of games where the opposition come and you need that one moment to land for you. Unfortunately, it didn't happen.
And finally, a whole week on the training pitch next week, and to prepare for what could be an exciting game away to Birmingham.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for everyone associated with the football club to show everyone how good we are, and we're really looking forward to it.
Good to hear from head coach Mike Dodds. But what about the Wigan Athletic fans? What did they make of it at Adams Park on Saturday? It's the greatest hits from social media and the forums. It's the opposition view. San Diego.
Holding the league's most potent scoring machine, scoreless, on their own turf was no mean feat. Kudos to the defence, with a special mention to Sam Tickle again. Today was a sign that the Latics are determined to stay up with a crucial point at a tough venue. Well played.
David Lowe.
Probably 12 points needed for safety. 12 goalless draws should do it.
Andy Rainford.
Fortunately, the referee was whistle happy and stopped Wycombe getting any real momentum going. But, dear God, we are boring to watch.
JAJC.
Nil again then. We're very good at getting nils. We have Huddersfield at home on Tuesday. And who knows? We might get another nil.
Dragnets.
Well done, lads. Another clean sheet. The Arsenal of old would be proud of you.
Bluetooth Blue.
To be fair, we are getting a bit more attack-minded. But without proven strikers, we won't be scoring more than one a game very often. If that. Note to owner. We know you want the club to be self-sufficient, but gates will fall if we keep watching negative football, and any player with a bit of ability is sold before he's even had a chance to make a mark.
Mr. Brownbill.
A draw today, but oh, come on! Isn't the whole point of football getting the ball in the net? To be frank, we are absolutely dire in that respect. The league's lowest scorers. Awful to watch. Entertainment, virtually zero. Goal threat, zero. Well, I know renewing my season ticket is seriously in doubt. I can't stomach much more of this entertainment vacuum.
JC Way.
I'm sorry, Sean Maloney, but folk don't travel the length of the country to see a team do well without the ball. One shot on target in 96 minutes would be bad enough against Barcelona. But we're playing Wycombe, for God's sake.
Gary Owen.
5th lowest scorers in the whole Football League. And the only team in League One to not yet make 30 goals. Hopefully this will be addressed in the summer with our top 10 budget, as we never look like scoring at the moment. They bring on Kone as a replacement striker. We don't even have one. Probably the reason that they've scored over twice as many goals as us.
Hugh WAFC.
Oh, very tough watch, that. You know what? We genuinely deserve to go to prison for the robbery we've just committed.
There's been a rumour that there's a new lightning-fast player in town, and I can confirm these rumours are correct. Virgin Media is here and is guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser. If you're tired of your broadband giving you the blues every time you want to do something, fear not. Virgin Media are right here in Wycombe and have brought their lightning-fast full fibre to the area to keep you entertained in between matches. Tuck into as many live sporting events, movies, games and tunes as your heart desires. Not forgetting our podcast, with unlimited downloads on Virgin Media's intelligent Wi-Fi. All delivered at the speeds you need to keep the whole house happy. And the best part is, you don't need to wait until the next transfer window to make Virgin Media your favourite signing of the season. Find out more at virginmedia.com or drop into your local O2 store. New customers only, eligible Virgin Fibre areas only, subject to survey, network capacity and credit check. Supporting a football club is like a marriage. Your club is there for life through the good times and the bad. We ask Chairboys fans for their most cherished old memory, their current favourite player, the best borrowed player we've ever had, and for something blue, we talk club merchandise. Okay, joining us this week is Chairboys fan Matthew James. Some music fans of the 90s may remember Matt. Matt, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
I'm very
Looking
well.
forward to talking
Yeah,
about the Chairboys. I'm not allowed to talk about the Chairboys this much, generally in my life. So, like with you, it's just like, well, you encourage me to, which is like a real great thing.
So you, I love talking to you as well because you kind of you like orbit in both of my worlds. I mean, my background was working in music. Now I'm into football and working in football, and you were in a band when I was at school, and I don't want to sort of age you or me here, but you were in a Britpop band as the drummer, right?
I was a drummer in a band called Gene. Yeah, Gene, we existed sort of 94 to we split up in 2004. Our last gig was at the Astoria in 2004. It was like 20, just over 20 years ago. And but I've sort of yes, but before that I was in loads of bands, like trying to make it. I thought I would make it when I was like 18, but I was in like lots of bands. I didn't get anything that made me any money in music till I was like 29 years old. And like my mum was like, "Are you really doing this again and again?" I went, "Yeah, I'm not going to stop," But I finally got my first paycheck. I'd been on the dole. I'd worked in R Price Records. I'd sold, I'd delivered lawnmowers for a living. But eventually, So when when were you in the music business? Then what was your? Didn't you work for my publishing company?
I worked for Chrysalis Publishing, and in the early 2000s, as an A&R person for about 9 or 10 years, which is, my background pretty much was music. So when I met you, I was like, wow, this is like, two worlds colliding.
Yeah. I'm also a wine merchant. I've been a wine merchant since 2008, so that's kind of, but I do music, I do music as much as I possibly can. I'm sat in my garden office, shed, obviously, and whenever I'm not selling wine to North London pubs, and restaurants, I'm always just like filling my day with music. And that's why I'm able to put music out. And drums are my first instrument, but I'm able to sort of like throw my hand at guitar and singing a bit, bits and bobs.
Because you've got music out now. You're releasing solo stuff now, right?
Yeah, I've got a song called The Reprieve out, which you kindly put on the Matchday playlist, and it's actually it's actually going pretty well. I find my stuff, like the music industry not sure what to do with me. They're sort of like, well, weren't you in that band Gene many years ago, and weren't you the drummer, sort of thing? Well, like they're a bit confused. But when you sort of put your stuff onto Spotify and the streaming channels, and people don't really know you are, they just listen to it and they're sort of judging the music. I find it does quite well there, So that's always encouraging, as long as there's a few people listening, that's just that. I mean, creativity is, it's the stuff of life, isn't it? When I'm doing music, like the Chairboys, especially this season, I give it everything I've got, and that's the word. It's not dissimilar to football in that respect for me. When I'm doing the music, I just throw everything at it, and they're certainly doing that this season on the pitch, aren't they? Amazing.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking about trying to link this to football. It's almost like you're a sort of a utility player. You can play at the back on the drums, you can go up front and sing, you can play your guitar in midfield. You're the utility player.
I can do a bit. Actually, I'm playing a gig not far from Wycombe. Sorry, the plug. I'm playing in Chesham in May on a place called Vault 17. I do like an Americana set with a pedal steel player, and so I do bits of bobs like that. I play the odd gigs, and I just make music with my old friends in the music biz. Actually, various people turn up and play for me. They sort of like, oh, it's him again. Will you mind?
So where did the journey with Wycombe Wanderers start? When did you become a fan?
Well, all my life, really. It's one of my oldest memories. I actually moved away from Wycombe when I was 9. Oh, not moved. I was sent to a boarding school, but when I was 5, I went to the C of E school opposite Lokes Park, and and I lived up the top of the hill, up Shelley Road, up the top, on that estate up the top there, and walked down. And we had to walk past Lokes Park every day to school. And, it wasn't obviously long before we thought, what's going on in there? What are all these people shouting about? And we'd be looking through the bars. But, when we were like young kids at 6, but by the time we were 7, we were in there, we were no one like my mum didn't know where I was going. We had bikes and we'd just be off to the other side of Wycombe, really a long way away. I don't know if that would happen so much these days, but we were 7-year-old kids and we noticed that they opened the gates at half time, but I think we found our way in anyway. I think there was a covert entrance. I think it's at the hospital end. There was an entrance where kids like me could, squirm under the fence, So we were in there, and then they used to let us in, at half time anyway. And I just, it's one of my oldest memories. And, Wycombe's Chairboys have always stuck with me ever since then. They're just such vivid memories, and you hold on to them, like the big events of, Bodger taking the corners, and I was lucky enough to see that, I look at footage of it now, the game against Middlesbrough, and I think, wow, that just looks like it's like 100 years old or something, but, I was actually, hanging around outside and then got the atmosphere that day, so it's an amazing thing. So I don't think I was initially massively into the football, just say, what's going on in here, what are they shouting about, and then just getting the sights and the smells of it, and eventually we became more and more into the actual game and sort of like hoping we would win rather than just sort of like watching. I remember people behind the goal like with cigarettes, like cupping cigarettes, and we'd be like sort of tapping them to get the drags on their bags and things. But I don't recommend that to any young kids that do this. I really don't. But I just remember things like that. I had my first drag of a cigarette at Wycombe, and just a bit tearaway-ish, I suppose, but. It's been with me ever since.
You're not the first person to mention the hole in the fence at the hospital end. To me, it's almost like a portal into another world that people have. It is. It's created a lot of Wycombe fans, that hole in the fence.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I know I pay my dues now. I sort of. So. Yeah, I remember just like it is like a portal to another world. I just remember the smell of the ground, with the sort of muscle balm and the cigarettes and all that sort of, the atmosphere was just amazing. Just for a kid, it was just like, wow, this is so adult. And no one knows I'm here,
Oh, wonderful. Right then, so let's get into the questions. We'll go with something old. Your favourite ever Wycombe Wanderers memory, what is it?
It's a tough one. I was going to say, I was at the FA Trophy final in 93, I think that was, Runcorn. Mm-hmm. And I just love that team so much. I love like Cousins and Carroll and, Guppy, Scotty, who else is there? Hyde. That team, I absolutely love that team. That was an amazing. I think that's the first time I'd been to Wembley. And I remember us having like so half the ground, and then Runcorn had like a little corner. But I think probably my favourite memory is the FA Cup semi-final in 2001. Yeah. I wasn't actually at the game or anything, but I was in my local pub in Camden where I lived. And we all went in there for first of all, there was Arsenal-Tottenham, the other semi-final, and then it was Wycombe-Liverpool. And we all watched the Arsenal. I do like Arsenal as well, but it's always Wycombe first, But that day I had my Wycombe shirt on, obviously, and everyone was like, what's he doing in here? You're a bit of a gooner, but yes, but I'm Wycombe first, And we watched the other guy, and then of course all the Arsenal fans they wanted Wycombe to win because they just said, we're going to destroy them in the final, and so the whole pub got behind Wycombe, and it was just, I was like standing on a table, sort of like conducting the crowd, and everyone was, and we got so close that day. I just remember that, just being so proud, and we'd probably been drinking since about midday, so that probably added to the flavour of it, But I just remember that day and how close. I could not believe, in my days as a kid, we were non-league, and it was just like the height of our existence. I love the that era, and. I think that's probably my favourite ever experience.
It was an amazing day, and I remember it was 78 minutes, wasn't it, until we went 1-0 down, and Liverpool had played Barcelona in the week in some European Cup, and then they were coming up against Wycombe at Villa Park, and I mean, we often say this, it was a real sort of pinch me moment for older fans who had been there in the Isthmian League days and everything else, and all the other places, and it was sort of weird, toe to toe with one of the biggest clubs in the country. It was fantastic.
And made it. We hung on. They didn't destroy us. It was just it almost happened. My two teams that I support in the FA Cup final. Imagine that. I mean, that's never going to happen.
It might do. You never know. It might do.
It would be weird for me, but Wycombe is always first. We all had our other teams because we were like a non-league, and of course we like Wycombe. That's where we live, type thing. But I had an Arsenal. We had done the double bag. I used to go with my school books in it and things. And some people were Chelsea, and we all had a big team.
Well, I'm more confident of Wycombe getting to the FA Cup final than Arsenal. So right, let's go on to the next question. Something new, your favourite player in the current squad, and there's lots to choose from.
I mean, the squad is so good at the moment. I mean, Richard Kearney has obviously set everything alight this season. I really hope he comes back soon. Although Dan Udo's been doing amazing, and Bez as well. I think it's probably too obvious at Coney. I sort of resigned to the fact that we're probably going to lose him at some point, but I just hope we get a real lot of money that will transform everything, But I think probably this season, I loved Morley before he left, but I think it's probably Cam Humphreys, actually. I just, he's a really smart young player, Humphrey, and he's, I just love watching him, and he's got a right head on his shoulders. He's a really good player, and he's bound to be Premier League in a few years, I think.
Absolutely.
I love the loanees that Matt and the team got in were absolutely brilliant. Obviously Caleb, and as I said, it's really sad Aaron Morley left. But. I mean, I love Fred. I'm so glad that Fred Onidima came back to us because I always look for him in the team. I think, oh, good, he's playing. And I mean, but everyone's done so well. You can't sort of. Just so proud of them this season because it didn't really start well, did it? We were not doing well over the first 4 or 5 games, and then it's just gone on since there, isn't it?
Amazing.
Fair play to Blooms as well for putting that together, and obviously Mike's going to continue it now, we hope.
Absolutely. Cam Humphreys, I mean, we're speaking the day after a home victory in which Cameron Humphreys got the ball rolling with another goal in front of the terrace, but he's the sort of player that, I don't know what you're like with footballers, but I like to watch footballers who do something that I'm not going to expect, and the passes and the vision that he has is just something else, and I love watching that.
Yeah, I agree. He's got a really good football brain. He's an intelligent player, and he's only here for a season, isn't he? It's very likely that he'll go back to Ipswich. So we have to prepare for life without him. But I've just thoroughly enjoyed watching him, and as as part of the team, though, the team have really gelled this season. So,
yeah,
it's been exciting stuff.
Absolutely, and we're in the business end nearly approaching that. So yeah, one's to keep an eye on. Right, on to something borrowed. Interesting, you've already put a loan player in as your current favourite as well. Your favourite ever loanee at Wycombe Wanderers, because we've had a few down the years.
It's a tough one. I think it's probably going to have to be Eze, actually. I know that everyone's probably said that. How many people have said Eze in...
I've got a little tally here. We're into double figures, but it's fine because everyone's got their own different memories and reasons why, so they're all valid.
I just love his long shots, and he was just such a pure talent, Okay, you could just tell. I was just dazzled by the boldness of the shots outside the box and everything that he did, and his ability to go around players, and he was just a sort of dazzling talent, I suppose, and it was just sort of. It'd been amazing if he'd been our own player. So I think he was at QPR, wasn't he?
He was.
But it was us that sort of gave him that platform to go on, and so it's a very important step for him, But I love watching him at Palace now. It was when he was there with Elise as well. They were just a formidable duo. I think he sort of misses them now in the Palace sort of lineup. It's not been quite as good this season as it, but I just think he's an amazing player. Just sort of. So how many people have picked him?
Several, but it's always worth remembering the contributions of our high-profile loanees and also the pride that we get when they go on and achieve. But equally, the story is excellent because I think it was Marcus Bean, who was one of the senior players at Wycombe at the time, had been dispatched to watch a QPR sort of academy game. And I think he'd been sent to watch someone else and came back and told Gareth and Dobbo and saying, this guy Eze, it's the one. And I don't think QPR really knew much about him. And then they said, can we have him? And then he turned up. And then we didn't really see him on the pitch for about 3 or 4 weeks because I think in training they really sort of worked hard on him. And then he just sort of announced himself, didn't he? And then that was it. And he's not looked back since. And what's lovely as well, and we've said this several times, is I think at the last England tournament, he was interviewed and he actually name-checked the spell at Wycombe as being sort of quite transformative in his career.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it was, and I always look out for him even now, it just sort of, it's great. Of course, there've been loads more, but I don't know. His name just seems to, and the most recent ones are probably, easier to remember, but, I mean, I can't think of, I mean, as I said, Callum Taylor and Aaron Morley were brilliant. Fantastic that Callum's come back.
Yeah.
And I think Morley's probably gone. He's well ensconced in the Bolton team now, isn't he? I check that he's on their team sheet every week, which he obviously wasn't before. But he's like uncompromising play. He did so well. He bossed that area. And.
Yeah, we'll all be cheering for Bolton when they take on Wrexham, whenever that is. If Aaron wants to pop up with a winner there, then we'd love him forever.
Yeah, but he was kissing the badge, wasn't he? He doesn't want to go. But he did go. But you just have to accept. I think I may have been quite upset at the time, but it's just, you don't know the ins and outs of things. We're just fans, just that on the outside, and there's a million things on the other side of the fence that are reasons for it. Plus, he's not actually our player. He's something like, I suppose he isn't.
Yeah, that's it. They always say never fall in love with a lone player, but we all do it every time. We all do the same mistakes. Right, on to something blue. This is your idea for the club shop. Now, this can be as sensible or as wacky or as crazy as you want it to be.
I suppose this is not going to happen, but I would really, really like a Wycombe Wanderers bass drum skin, bass drum head, as I like. So I mean, I remember doing festivals with some bands used to have their football club on their bass drum, on the front of it. I remember I did a festival with Simple Minds once, and also they had like a Celtic sort of bass drum, at the front of it with a hole cut out for the mic to go inside, And I remember Primal Scream had a Celtic one as well, but I want a Wicked Wanderers one. And so, if you could arrange them to make, a few thousand of those, and see how many drummers there are supporting. Yeah, I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that, I don't play drums as much live these days, but yeah, I would have always wanted one of those. So I suppose I could get a large sticker made or something, but yeah. So do you think they take on in the club shop?
It's quite a niche, I'll admit that. I'm not sure how many drummers are out there, touring drummers who support Wycombe Wanderers. If you are, please get in contact. We can maybe form a support group that you can all join together. I remember years ago doing a gig with the band Foals, and I think...
Great band.
Yeah, it was either their drummer or the bass player, I'm not sure which, was a Wycombe fan. From Stokenchurch area, so you're not alone in being, I'm not sure if it was a drummer or the bass player, but either way, they're a solid unit.
yeah.
I may have misremembered that. It could be another band altogether. As it's like as you get older, everything just blends into one, doesn't it?
I've got a feeling it's the drummer. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I feel it. Maybe it's because I'm a drummer. I don't know, but. He'll have one as well, anyway.
I mean, drummers are essentially like the goalkeepers, aren't they, of the music industry? You're all a little bit different.
Yeah, the crazy drummer stories. I do love being a drummer. It's my natural sort of instrument, if you know. I do love being at the back of the stage, kind of watching. I'm just kind of watching what's going on the whole time. I feel like I'm in control of the whole room, And it's a nice place to be, sat on a drum riser, I tell you.
Fantastic. Well, Matt, it's been wonderful speaking to you as ever and getting your memories. Remind everybody where they can find your new track and your solo music as well. Where can they get hold of you?
Well, I'm on all the streaming channels. My single's called The Reprieve, the current one, and it's the most sort of rock track that I've done. And I've got other members of Gene played on it, and got my pedal steel player on it. And I'm on Spotify. I mean, I'm one of 1,000 Matt Jameses, so they probably have to sort of search for the one who looks a bit like me with a cap on, And although you can find me on the Wycombe Wanderers matchday playlist.
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
You can check me there. And I'm playing in Chesham on the 22nd of May, the Thursday night, I think it is. So come on down.
Perfect. We can all toast celebrations to the championship together, hopefully.
Oh, wow, yes. I know they're not allowing themselves to play. They're really focused. And Mike's doing a good job of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our job as fans to be the ones who are sort of constantly looking at the table and planning things. The team and Mike are very focused, as you say. They're getting the business done. We're just we'll do all the worrying and the excitement. We'll look after that.
Yeah, it is worrying. But I was quite relaxed during the Bristol game last night, though. And even at half time, they were just sort of like, nah, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
Well, Matt, great to speak, and we'll see you at Adams Park very soon, hopefully, as well.
Yeah, I'll definitely be back. I'll be back this season, yeah.
That's it for this week's episode of Ringing the Blues in partnership with Virgin Media. We'll be back next week with news of our trip to Birmingham City. In the meantime, come on, you Blues.